everyone, I'm Mind, and I just got another issue of the LEGO Ninjago Magazine. This month's issue comes with a Dragons Rising Lloyd minifigure, as you can see right here, which is probably one of the worst minifigures we've gotten recently. Obviously, he's a very prominent and important character in the show, but he's also a very common character in the sets. In fact, he comes in a $20 set, so he's not a super difficult minifigure to find. Anyway, we'll take a closer look at that minifigure at the end of this video. For now, let me remove him so you guys can see the full cover of the magazine. And here's the full cover. You can see my boy Zane is featured front and center. We got Roz in the background. It says that Lloyd is ready for action. Who wins the dragon race? We have two awesome posters, a sick comic, and Ninja's dragon battle. Can they save the dragons from the clutches of evil claws? Plus Zane's epic dragon secrets. Curious to see if there's going to be any actual secrets. My guess, no. But we'll see, I guess. Let's get this thing open. Advertisement for the new Play Is Your Superpower campaign, Rebuild the World campaign. I don't know what's going on here. Table of contents, of course. Let's turn to the first actual page. And this is the bio page of the Lloyd minifigure. The Green Ninja. After Master Wu was lost, Lloyd had big shoes to fill. The monastery needs to be kept running, the new ninja candidates Arin and Sora need a master, and Ninjago City needs a hero. Ready for action, Lloyd is always on the spot and more powerful than ever. In Season 17, they're still sticking with that naming scheme, I don't know why. He manages to absorb dragon energy into himself, giving him incredible abilities and turning the legs of his enemies into jelly. Together with the matriarch, he was able to unleash a huge Spinjitzu vortex, defeating a dozen claw hunters at once. Using the energy of the source dragon, Lloyd can open a portal to bring the dragons back to safety from Beatrix and co. And it mentions he's got an awesome dragon sword and mega cool eyes. Yeah, sure, I agree with that. Okay, this is a sort of like Minesweeper type game where I have to figure out like what spaces have claw hunters. I actually like that. I don't think I've seen them do that kind of game before. It requires a little more thought though. Definitely a fun one. Then here you have to pick out all the different parts to his weapon. Turning to the next page, here we have Duel of the Hotheads. Sparks always start flying between the Fire Ninja Kai and Wildfire, the elemental master of heat. During their heated competitions, things can sometimes get broken. Solve the puzzles to see who could work up a bigger head of steam. Alright, and there's a bunch of little mini games here that are between Kai and Wildfire, and you have to see who like wins the most. Okay, this is cute. It's a little activity that ties into Zane Day, which of course we saw in the show, but it's got all these characters in Zane costumes, and some of them look really funny, because these are all like official images from sets that they edited. So for example, they put like a mask on this guy from the island, the tea shop owner has painted his face gray, Zane's got glasses on here. Again, another character painting their face gray. I like the cardboard cutout, I believe, on Twitchy Tim. Golden Dragon Zane wings up here, including very tiny ones on that guy. Even the baby has his face painted gray. That's really funny. Alright, turning to the next page, we have Ryu lifts weights. Let's go. Look at this little guy, that's a good profile picture. Okay, and they're just saying that Ryu's exercising, so these are all games that tie in with that concept. That's very funny, but I like it. Nice theming going on there. And then we have a villain parade. Over the years, the ninja have faced off against a whole host of villains, but none of them have stood a chance. Grab your crayons and create your own supervillain to match the ninja's power. And then we have just a blank minifigure here for you to color, which I think that's great. I think that's awesome for kids. I would have loved something like this when I was little. But then we also have some previous villains in the background that you can also color in, including a Whipper right here, which I really like. Alright, turning to the next page, here we are at the comic. So as always with the comic, I'm not going to read the entire thing to you guys, but feel free to pause the video and read it for yourself. And if I notice anything especially funny or interesting, I will stop and point it out to you guys. Okay, so it seems like this takes place during Dragons Rising Season 1 Part 2. It seems like right after the episode where they meet the Whippers and like the giant crab monster, and they're like helping to defend the sea town. It seems like it takes place right after that. Okay, this is kind of neat. So apparently this village that they landed at is the City of Stiix. Not all of it, but part of it, that ended up here after the merge. That's very, very interesting. These comics aren't canon, so take it with a grain of salt. There's a chance we could see something like this in the show, or there's a chance the comic people just made this up. But the idea that parts of Ninjago could end up in other parts of Ninjago, I don't think we've seen that yet. Obviously parts of other realms ended up in Ninjago, but Ninjago itself didn't get shuffled around. I guess people did. So yeah, very curious, but this is a location I'd like to see. And potentially they could be hinting that this is somewhere we're going in the future. Because, for example, the Land of Lost Things appeared in one of these magazines before it appeared in the show, so this could be a similar scenario. I doubt it, but I do think it is a possibility. But anyway, we have Strangleweed here as well as a dragon living here, and that dragon's another thing that could be something in the future. Could that be a set one day? Maybe. To me, it seems like it's just a modification of Heatwave because it's got the same jaw piece and the same horns, but again, there's a chance that's a set. I doubt it though, especially because I don't think we have any rumors that suggest we're getting like a water dragon or anything next year. Okay, the dragon is baby dragons, and they're trying to teach the baby dragons to fly. That's absolutely adorable. I love that. Look how cute these little ones are. But now we are at the break in the comic, and this is neat. It's a game that actually ties in with the comic. So yeah, just a couple of mini games that tie in with Stiix, and it calls back to where we first saw Stiix in Season 5. Then we have the posters in the middle, which I can remove real quick. The first of which is this one. This has Arin and Lloyd on it, and it's a part of a series of posters that they've been doing over the past few magazines, just featuring one or two ninja in some of the sets that they come in. So this time around, it's Arin and Lloyd. Cool to see that continue, and I mean, I think they're all pretty good. We've got the Ninja Team Mechs here, which is a pretty good set. lot. But the poster I actually find more interesting is the one on the other side, because this is straight up just the Dragons Rising Season 1 poster. This is not something that was made for the magazine. No, this is the official promotional material, which is an amazing poster to get. Obviously, magazine posters aren't the best quality because they're stapled into the center of the magazine, so there's holes in the center. So if it wasn't for that, this would be something I hang up on my wall. But regardless, if we're going to get any posters, this is a very good one to get. Very happy to see it here. But now coming back to the magazine, we have 2 more games right here. You gotta lead cold to the teapot, and you gotta figure out which of these parts go into these triangles. And after that, we are back to the comic. Once again, the baby dragons are absolutely adorable. Look at these guys fly around. Aren't they so cute? But uh-oh, Imperium's here and they're capturing dragons. It seems like they've already gotten a water dragon. So turning to the next page, oh no, the babies are being captured by Imperium. That's so sad. There's also a funny little error right here. That's actually the front of Lloyd's torso on his back. You see that? Right, there's how the front looks. You can see that's also on his back. It's a little silly. But anyway, turning to the next page. Okay, they free the baby dragons, they free the water dragon, and they're off on their way again. That was a cute comic, honestly. I like the ones where it's not just like an adventure story where, oh, they fight the bad guys, they beat the bad guys. I mean, we got a little bit of that at the end here. But I like the first half. It was world building, telling us like what happened to Stiix. We got to see a new type of dragon, we got to see the baby dragons, and it was neat seeing Lloyd and Arin work with the baby dragons. Yeah, I honestly like this one a lot. And to my knowledge, I don't believe this contradicts canon, so I guess it could be considered canon until we hear otherwise, which I do always like when the comics do that. But yeah, that's of course the end. However, it is not the end of the magazine, so now let's turn to the next page. We have monsters, facts, and Zane's Dragon Database. And here we have a summary of just like dragons throughout all of Ninjago. We have the elemental dragons, first one right there, the dragon that was with the first Spinjitzu master. This, I believe, is a new render of the matriarch dragon. I don't think we saw that in any of the previous magazines. Definitely looks very cool. And then, of course, we have Ryu here as well, and it says, Ryu might be small, but he has proven to be an essential part of the ninja team, and he hasn't even unleashed his full potential. Then we have Zane's Dragon Database, the scariest dragon, the funniest dragon, and my favorite dragon, which I kind of disagree with this. I don't think Zane's favorite dragon would be the Cyber Dragon. And then we have the Ultimate Dragon Race on the side. You'll find the rules on the reverse side. Okay, what are the rules? Oh, whoa, okay, this is an entire board game. Okay, this is actually awesome. I don't think I've seen them do this before, but this is like an actual board game that they designed, right? It's a dice rolling board game. You gotta get from the start to the goal, and they've got all these rules on the side. But there's actually 4 different characters who each have their own unique things. The Earth Dragon, Xanth, Heatwave, and Jiro. They each do their own things, and you pick which one you want to be. That is actually very creative. I like that a lot. Very cool inclusion. That might be my favorite like game I've seen in these magazines so far. Turning to the next page, we have Jay to the Rescue. And this seems to mostly be an advertisement for the Lightning Dragon versus the Empress Mech set. They are mixing things up a little bit. I like that. There's a maze in the middle. We got some dynamic pictures. That's fun, but it is still mostly an advertisement. And then we get to the final page where we have an advertisement for next month's magazine, which is going to come with a Dragons Rising Zane minifigure, which that's one that I'm happy to get. Again, not the most exciting. There's definitely been better magazine promos in the past, but Zane is one of the more uncommon characters of the past wave, right? He only came in 2 sets, and the cheapest set was $35, so I appreciate getting him here. And then finally, on the very last page, we have more of these cards that you can cut out, and these are a part of a game that started a long time ago, and they're continually adding to it, which it is very neat to see that continue. But I think that's about it for the actual magazine, which honestly, I loved. Like, I am thoroughly impressed by the actual content in this magazine. I mostly do these videos for the comics and the minifigures. I don't care a ton about everything else. But no, the games were genuinely good in this one. Like, the games and stuff in these magazines are made for young kids, and I'm obviously not the target audience. But something like that board game where you have the different roles, it seems really interesting. If I had a little more time on my hands, and someone who was interested in playing with me, I genuinely would want to try that out. This was a really fantastic magazine. But of course, we're not done just yet. Now let's get this Lloyd minifigure in this polybag opened up. So here's the Dragons Rising Lloyd minifigure, and even though I said in the intro that like he's not the most exciting because he is very common, that does not by any means mean he's a bad figure, because this is actually a really good minifigure and one I really like. This is the first ever Lloyd suit to use bright green as his main color rather than normal green, and I think that was such a great change. It just pops so much more, especially the dark green on top of the bright green, and it looks so beautiful. The lighter green on the belt I think looks alright. I don't think it's the best color on this figure, but it's also not bad. And of course he's got the armor piece around the back where he can hold a katana. The most interesting part about this figure though is actually the accessory, because of course this is a magazine promo, and many of the Ninjago magazines come with really unique weapon builds, and that's definitely the case here. You can see it's a dragon hilt, but then there's like this crown piece, and then like the May sword from Monkey Kid coming out of the top, and that's just so wacky, but I absolutely love it. It looks so cool. This is my favorite thing that they do in the magazines. Like, if the figure's gonna be relatively common, at least give us an interesting weapon, because even though none of the parts here are like rare or anything, the build is just something we would not really see in any mainline sets. So I'm very happy to see that here. I think it's awesome, and it fits Lloyd perfectly. Here's a full look at the Lloyd figure with the armor and mask removed. You can see he's got like those digital eyes on his face, which I don't know if we're ever really going to get like a reason behind that, because that never really appeared in the show. But hopefully we'll see them one day. It does look really cool. It's just not accurate to anything we ever saw. And on the alternate side, he's got a pretty good expression, just like a very stern face. I think it works well. Really cool back torso print too, with that dragon logo on it and those swirls surrounding it. Really good minifigure all around. Obviously, not a very rare one, but still one that's very nice to get. And so, overall, do I recommend that you pick up this magazine? This one's a very interesting one because I feel like the figure is actually the worst part, but I still really like it. The games and activities are actually fantastic, so if you do have any interest in doing those, or you're like buying a gift for someone younger, I think this magazine's really good for that. The posters are also fantastic this time around, and I thought the comic was really fun. So yeah, the biggest weak point is just the minifigure, and it's not even a bad minifigure, it's just a very common one. I think for kids especially, though, this is really good because the magazine's great and Lloyd's a very popular character. But for older collectors, if you don't really have any interest in like the stuff in the actual magazine, this is probably one you can skip out on. So yeah, I'm very happy with this, all things considered, which I was not expecting to say for the Dragons Rising Lloyd magazine. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys thought of this magazine in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!